There are so many things to consider with regards to your election, and making sure the right people are running it is priority number one. Hi, I'm Kyle Brandt, joined by Matt Fiala with SaBy and Ballot Systems, and today we will be discussing moving to a third-party election vendor. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Kyle, and thanks everyone for joining today. There are a wide variety of factors to look for in a third-party vendor that can set them apart from an internally run election or from other vendors. These include vendor experience, their ability to help you improve election participation, customer service, pricing, transparency, and security. When evaluating these factors across your options, you should be able to come to a decision that your entire organization and membership can be satisfied with. One of those is experience. When looking for external management of your election, a vendor's experience is always a question worth asking. Are they an established election provider that can point to their consistent success, or are they a relative newcomer with a smaller body of work? If you are using an online-only election vendor, something to really look into is whether they seem brand new or have a lack of information readily available to them. There have been many cases of organizations moving to budget online election solutions only to find that they are run by one person out of their home's basement or garage. Now, this may not be a concern for some organizations, especially very cost-conscious ones, but keep in mind that an environment like this is much more difficult to secure and less likely to provide you with the support you may want. The more success stories a vendor can point to, the more you know you can reliably trust the work they will be doing. Ask if they have references you can reach out to that may have run similar elections to what you're looking into. This will give you a good baseline of what to expect if you made the change. Another part of it would be promotion and member engagement. If you're going to bring a third party into your election, you should also be able to bring in their expertise on engaging your membership to get more involved in the voting process. Don't pay a vendor for the bare minimum. Get the absolute most out of your election by seeking out expert consultation on how to make voting convenient, reliable, and trustworthy. A big part of maximizing participation is ensuring there is a way for all of your members to vote. This is a balance your organization will need to find with the help of your election provider, since different members will have different voting needs. You don't want to unfairly make it difficult for certain demographics to vote, so be aware of those needs as you consider voting methods. Some of those would be reminder emails for member engagement, social media sharing, and other promotional strategies should be discussed. These can be great tools to ensure high turnout of voters.
When working with a vendor on something as important as your election, quality customer service is a must. Everything needs to be set up in a way that you are able to comply with all bylaws and state statutes while also achieving any goals that you have set for the process. This communication and collaboration is really the key to ensuring that you get exactly what you're looking for. Great customer service needs to be backed by action, often before you even know you need it. Vendors should always be seeking feedback from their clients, and with an intensive project like an election, this is no different. Look for an election provider that values your feedback from the first point of contact to even after the election has closed. This feedback gives everyone an idea of what has worked well and what could be improved upon. Sharing information is essential to the success of future projects, as well as providing an overall positive experience. Another key factor with customer service that you get from an outside vendor that you wouldn't if handled internally is expert assistance in case anything abnormal comes up. If anything goes in a way that's not according to plan, in all likelihood this is something your vendor has seen before and knows exactly how to handle. This is a big advantage over just guessing how to proceed if you handle things yourself. The cost of an election when looking at a third-party vendor can seem a straightforward way to compare and contrast services, but it's really important to know that you're comparing apples to apples. When comparing an outside vendor to an internal solution, the big cost difference that you'll need to account for is employee time. When handled internally, the cost may look lower, but then you are paying your employees to manage the election rather than paying an expert third-party vendor to do that part. When comparing two vendors, make sure that you know that the services they're offering are as close as possible. For example, if you're comparing an all-web election from one vendor and an election with all mailed ballots from another, those prices could vary greatly. Budget vendors may seem like a great deal, but if the corners that they are cutting are on security for your member data, that may be a bridge that you don't want to cross. You'll also likely get less of a commitment to customer service from a pure budget solution, as we've mentioned earlier.
Part of an election is the transparency. Transparency is a huge reason that many organizations move their election to a third party in the first place. Many members often want to know that there is no favoritism or perceived unfairness in the election process. After all, you are voting in the leadership that will determine how your organization is run. Not only can an unfair-looking process raise questions within your membership, it could even open you up to legal challenges. Even if you are able to completely show how the final results were reached, there really is only one way to keep yourself free of any allegations or doubts. The best solution to give this peace of mind to your members is to have an unbiased outside party manage the voting process. They will be able to point to an auditable process that is completely free from any conflicts of interest and guarantees accuracy of all results that are provided. Security is another question that comes up a lot, and keeping your members' data secure is one of the absolute top priorities of your organization, and this is especially true when you move aspects of your operations online. With web voting, you'll want to work with someone who has experience in the space and can point to specific processes and measures that will keep things safe from intrusions. Data security is the last thing you want to go cheap on, so be mindful of this. There are things to look for, like SOC 2 certification, that can be a jumping off point in your conversations with vendors. Another aspect of voting security is keeping the process safe to ensure members are only able to vote once. If you are using a free survey software to do voting, even if you are a very small organization, you're putting yourself at risk for potentially flawed data when members can get back in and vote multiple times. The challenge of ensuring your members only vote once is that you also want to guarantee voter anonymity. This is another reason a third party is really the best of both worlds. They can set a system in place to track which members have and have not voted without the organization itself needing to look at individual ballots cast.
Thanks, Matt. It's important to not only consider third-party providers for your election, but also to really know what you're looking for. Don't be afraid to ask questions of any vendor you're looking at. They're there to help at any stage of the process. With that, we'll open the floor for any questions that you may have. So go ahead and type any questions that you may have for Matt or I into the chat box, and we'll get to as many as we can. Okay, so one that looks like it came in during the webinar itself, towards the end there, was someone had a question about what exactly SOC 2 is and what that means.
Yeah, so on a high level, it's when a third-party auditing firm comes in and goes through your company's processes and makes sure they are secure and transparent. What we'll do here at the end of the webinar, we'll send out some information in regards to SOC 2, because we are compliant with SOC 2 on our end.
Thanks, Matt. We had another question, and it looks like a few people actually answered the survey questions at the beginning this way. But what are some strategies that organizations have used to increase turnout with an election vendor?
Yeah, so voting participation is very huge when it comes to all organizations. And what most companies, and especially what we do here at SaBy and Ballot Systems to increase participation, of course, is reminder emails. The more times you can remind the members about voting, the better. And that could be if you're open, you say your voting website's open for a month, maybe you have 3 reminder emails, once one after a week, one about the third week, and then one more the final week of the election to get that last push. Some that we have seen more recently is using media sharing through Facebook, LinkedIn, and that is something that SBS does provide, and it's more of a grassroots type of way to reach members. If you think of it like if you go to the ballot and you go vote, you get one of the stickers that says "I voted" and you put it on your shirt and you wear it proudly. Or when you go to the office, a person might be like, "Oh, you voted. What are we voting on?" So that sort of starts a conversation. That's exactly how the social media sharing works as well, except it's on your LinkedIn, Facebook, and you just, what happens is once you vote, you go log into your Facebook after the voting, and what happens is it pops up on your Facebook account, and then basically you can write under, "I voted in the election," and you post it.
Thanks, Matt. And to kind of add on that, our goal is to really be a big resource for information on these sort of things for anyone that's looking for any level of information on looking into election vendors or looking into elections in general. So if you go ahead and check out on our page, we have a very extensive blog that covers many of these topics as well as many ebooks and past webinars. If you look through that, you're sure to find some more answers to questions of anything that you may have. If you want to learn more about how survey and ballot systems can help you in your election process, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our contact information is up on the screen, and you can also feel free to contact us via our website or download one of our many informative ebooks. We've actually included a copy of one of our ebooks covering how to manage the RFP, request for proposal process, for your election within this webinar as an attachment. And so if you wanted to download that, you're certainly welcome to do so. We would love to hear what you think about that. If anyone has any additional questions or if we missed any, we'll make sure to get back to you as soon as we can after this webinar. But with that, that's the end of our webinar today, and we wanted to thank you all for watching. Thanks.